Good morning, good morning, good morning, everyone. Welcome to another episode of Spilling Tea. I'm your host, Tiffany Daniels, and yes, I know, folks, I don't have tea right now. I got about 1 hour before my mom and my brother gets here, and we are heading off to go see Halloween Kills. So, kind of like running against the clock here. So, we're going to try to get this video done quickly. Usual disclaimers. So you are going to find a link to the report right there in the description box, along with Autistic Hoya's massive archive. The templates, sign your name, click on your senator, and the ever-present change.org Shut the Judge Rotenberg Center Down petition. Now, folks, when we are talking about the JRC, you're going to hear vivid descriptions of, as well as sometimes catch, video clips from surveillance footage of peoples with disabilities being tortured and abused. If you have young children present, please use your headphones. Folks, I only got up about around 2 hours ago, and I've been dashing around like a chicken with my head cut off for the last couple of hours. So if I stumble over my words, folks, please, my apologies in advance. Alright, so we're going back to where we left off yesterday. General Medical Services. A registered nurse. Oh, right. Square shoulder back. The stupid's coming. A registered nurse or licensed practical nurse is available to assist in the healthcare needs of JRC clients 24 hours a day, 7 days per week. Well, isn't that special? Doesn't seem like your 24-hour staff has done anything to stop the horrific bodily harm that is, brought upon them every waking day of their lives. All JRC nurses also have Nextel phones assigned to them for immediate contact. Again, any nurse, any doctor, any physician that agrees with the horrible shit going down at the JRC, they deserve to have their licenses revoked for life and be banned from practicing any type of health care or mental health care for life. If you all can't seem to understand the concept of first do no harm, you have no business being in this field whatsoever. Moving on. All first aid treatment is performed by nursing staff whenever possible. However, all direct care staff are certified in CPR and first aid during the initial 2-week training, and we were recertified in CPR methods and first aid every 2 years. Well, that's just normal, Judge. I don't see how that is impressive at all. That is pretty standard inside any mental health care or developmental disability facility. Just saying. The people who were my managers at my assisted living were trained in CPR. It doesn't make you special, and it doesn't make them professionals. JRC maintains a list of staff that are CPR and first aid trained that includes the name of these staff, their positions, and expiration dates of their current certifications. Okay, let me get this straight. Not all of your staff is trained on CPR? Aren't you supposed to be a treatment center as well as a school? What the hell are you doing that you do not require every single employee to know CPR? What are you doing? These people have no business operating. Out here, it is common practice. You work in the healthcare or mental health field, you are trained in CPR, period. If you are not licensed in CPR and first aid within a certain matter of weeks, within taking the job position, guess what? You're out the door. Wow. Remind me to never move to Massachusetts. Sad as I thought about it when I was younger. Each student receives a routine medical examination as needed by the school nurse and physicians. Funny how they never know any of the issues that comes involved when you're doing electric shocks on people that are designed to hurt them. Physical exams are given at the time of admission and annually thereafter. Any student who's in medical restraint is given a body check every 15 minutes by a nurse or direct care staff member trained in this procedure. Are they trained, Judge? Are they trained? Because I have seen time and again photographs, documents, not from just Jennifer Masumba, not just from the Andre McCollins deal, not even just from this particular incident that we are going over in depth, but from others from the JRC as well. All of them show very clear visual evidence of harm. If these nurses are doing full body checks, fired for incompetence at the very least. How this place has not been sued for medical malpractice yet, I have no idea. Students also receive dental services every 6 months or so frequently if necessary. Body checks and reporting. Certain students are required to have body checks completed twice a day by either assigned staff or nursing. If the body checks are required for a student, it will be noted in his or her current recording sheet. Oh, Jesus Christ. And I'm sure you're just going to spill all the beans to us, right? I doubt it. Staff must clearly document any marks or injury found on a student and must print their own name and the time of a body check in the space provided in the student's health sheet. But they're going to mark, by the way, oh, we just saw a little bit of redness, like they did on the Andre McCollins sheet. Then we got to look at them in the hospital. Yeah. You have to forgive me, Judge, if I don't believe people who have their hand checks doled out to them by the JRC, whether or not they're reporting the truth about injuries. If an injury is noted near a GED electrode and if staff suspect it is due to the GED, or if any unexplained injury is found, monitoring must be notified immediately. Oh, you can't have us finding out now, can you? Monitoring must then notify the nursing department, who will make a decision about the seriousness of the illness and injury and will immediately call 911 if an emergency exists. Like you did with Andre? Like you did with these two kids? I call bullshit. If you call 911, that will draw publicity towards you. And you really don't want that. Not if you want to keep projecting this image that this treatment does no long-lasting effects or any kind of harm. Why are these even things that are in place, JRC, Judge, if this treatment is so safe and it's just a bee sting? By the way, some bee stings can kill you. Not the best analogy they could have used in the world. The nursing department must document any illness or injuries in the nursing notes and following up with the student's treatment team or student services as appropriate. Emergencies. If a student is believed to be ill, injured, or has an accident, the following procedures must be followed. The staff person who witnessed or observed a student's illness or injury, excuse me guys, that will annoy me, must notify the shift supervisor and monitoring unless it's apparent that outside emergency assistance is necessary, in which the case the staff person should call 911 and then the nursing department. I don't trust these people to know when they should call 911. They think shocking us at 45 milliamps is a good idea. You have to forgive me if I don't trust their judgment about bodily harm. Staff should request a face-to-face assessment of the student from the nurse if the illness or injury is serious. The nurse should instruct the staff to call 911 or transport the student to the hospital if she is unable to honor the face-to-face request in a timely fashion, And 4, the nursing department is then responsible for ensuring the safety of the student, making sure all necessary medical treatment is provided, including follow-up treatment. Judge, tell me something. If these people get 3 weeks of training for being put on the job, and only 1 week is spent on how to recognize an emergency situation that would require hospitalization, why would anyone entrust their kids to you? Why do you expect me to believe this place is safe? 1 week is not nearly a goddamn enough training to recognize any and all signs that somebody might need to go to a hospital. These people have literally shocked a student for wailing, for inappropriate noise, when it turned out the kid had a freaking ulcer. Just saying. Whenever his nurse is not available, monitoring staff will complete an emergency medical checklist with the staff to assist accurately assessing the situation and will determine if 911 should be called. Again, any nurse or practitioner who agrees with this sort of treatment, I don't trust that they know when someone needs hospital care. If 911 is not needed or a face-to-face assessment is not required, again, I don't trust your judgment. Monitoring will notice the on-call nurse who will go through the emergency medical checklist again with the staff. If a student must be transported to the hospital, a supervisor assigned by the monitoring department must ensure the emergency medical packet accompanies the student to the hospital. Ensure a theory note is filled out, and ensure the examining doctor fills out a medical form and the accompanying staff member signs the form and documents any information gathered. Monitoring is responsible for coordinating transportation to and from emergency medical treatment if an ambulance is not necessary. Yeah, I'm going to trust them on that. Sure, Jan. Sure. Wonder how many times they're going to shock them on the car on the way there for, making a fuss that could get them in trouble. The nursing department is responsible for notifying the parent, guardian, and documenting the conversation in a parent-agency contact. Okay, note something. They contact the parent as the last thing they do. First, they determine, with their extreme lack of education, whether this might require hospitalization. Then the nurse, who is having their pockets lined by the JRC, will determine whether or not the injury is bad enough that it will get her in more trouble if she doesn't call 911. Then they call 911, and after this hiding and rigmarole, then they contact the parents. Wow. After a student returns from the emergency room, the nursing staff will contact the parent or guardian to review the doctor's report in detail. So this one's an eye-opener, folks. As you notice, we are going to go ahead and close out, but this is a real eye-opener. And why is it an eye-opener? Well, there's a lot of reasons. First of all, the first step to determine whether an injury by the GED is bad enough that the person needs to go to the hospital, we are relying literally on a staff member that has had 1 week of education and training on how to recognize emergency situations that need to lead to hospitalization. We're supposed to rely on their judgment with their extreme lack of training on the matter. Again, my brother was a medical assistant. I guarantee you he got a hell of a lot more training on emergency situations than these guys are getting. Okay, number 2. They have a whole list of people that they go through to determine whether or not it will get them in more trouble if they don't send the kid to the hospital. When finally they make the decision, then the very last thing they do is notify the parents. So this leaves a lot of disturbing things open. It definitely confirms the idea as to why these parents have no real concept or idea of what's going on behind closed doors. If these people are hiding things, if they are only sending these kids to the hospital in the most dire situations where they will get in trouble and possibly be closed down if they do not send that kid to the hospital, it kind of makes sense if you think about it. These parents are deluding themselves, and the school is helping them do it. They're feeding them this false idea through their procedures and their pamphlets that if it is an emergency situation, there is on-staff people who will make sure that their child is taken care of. And they are assured that they will be notified if their child becomes ill. In reality, that is not what happens. The only time the school notifies the parents is if the kid has to go to the hospital, and they are literally the last people to know. If you don't find that disturbing, you should. And on those dark notes, I'm going to go ahead and close out for this morning because I got a very short time before I got to go. Now, before I do, folks, when I do get home, I don't know the hour quite yet, but we are going to do a live review of Halloween Kills. Because reasons, that's what I'm going out to see. Yay, Halloween season! So please be here for that. Also, folks, we don't get very many views on this channel. The few that we do tend to get removed from time to time. So folks, please don't forget to hit that like button. Hit subscribe. Don't forget to hit the comments. I do appreciate your time this afternoon. And as always, we here at Spilling Tea hope you have a good one. Bye-bye.